What's up guys, today we're going to be going over exactly what the title says. Destiny 2's best loot is time gated currently. That is a sentiment I've seen a lot throughout the community, and before we get into the video, just so we're all on the same page, I am like 99-100% on the same side. There's only one talking point that I do disagree on, but overall I agree with the conclusion of the argument, not necessarily one of the arguments. And also, this will be probably just a straight up crash out video. I do plan on making another talk about the portal and leveling once I'm 450. That one might be a little bit more put together with like thoughts to improve stuff. But this one's gonna be mostly just letting the frustration boil over. And the reason I'm so frustrated is because I don't think this is relatively even close to a new problem in Destiny 2. I think it's the same core issue that's been baked into the game since the seasonal model and has just been converted into the new DLC into season structure. And it's just so clear that this has just become a fundamental game design philosophy they put into the game, and I'm not sure it's ever going to go away. And one last thing before we begin, I'm currently 444 power. I've been roughly top 10 the entire DLC so far, so I think I'm qualified to talk about this topic because I've obviously experienced it quite a lot. So what does Destiny 2's best loot being time gated even mean? Well, in respect to the portal, the only way to get tier 5 loot, the best loot in this new system, is from random prime engram bonus drops that are roughly 1 in 20 upon every portal activity completion. So if you don't know the way the system works, your tier rewards 1 through 5 are determined by your power level. So when you're in the 100 band, so 100 to 199, your drops are going to be tier 1. Then when you get to 200, tier 2, 300, tier 3, 400 plus, tier 4. And so once we get to 500, we'll be able to get tier 5 drops from our A reward package in the portal. But obviously right now we're capped at 450, which means you can never actually enter that 500 band. But as you're playing the game, there is a chance of getting this prime engram drop, this bonus drop, that is always going to be 1 tier higher than your normal loot. And these drops are roughly 1 in 20 completions. So for example, when you're 200 light, you can get a chance of getting tier 3 rewards from that bonus drop, and so on, all the way up to 400, where we're normally getting tier 4, but there's a chance at tier 5. So that is the only way to get tier 5 drops, the best loot Destiny 2 has to offer from the portal currently, and also that's the only way to level up past 400. Normally, when you're 200 to 300, all of your drops are going to be plus 4 over your account power. Then when you get 300 to 400, they're going to be plus 3s, and then 400 to 450, your normal drops are just on light, and then the only way to get powerful drops, the plus 3s, are from these prime engrams 1 in 20 runs. So just explain what that means once you actually reach 400. The amount of time it takes from going 400 to 450 is 20 times longer than 350 to 400. And that is on average. If you're getting bad luck, it would be a lot worse. And another way to explain it is, if you look at, on average, if you're not getting dupes and you're getting drops in the perfect slot, every 4 drops of plus 3 obviously adds up to plus 12. Then you can even out your other 4 slots with plus 1s. A lot of things going on, but if you follow, you follow. If you understand, you understand. Every 4 drops equals 2 power level. And once again, 20 runs per drop on average. So getting the last 50 power level with perfect RNG in the solo ops playlist is going to be a minimum of 2,000 completions. And this is going to be the one thing I disagree about. I think a lot of people are making a big deal of the extra 50 last power level being very, very hard to achieve. But if you actually look at it, the extra 50 power does nothing, right? It's just like a bonus, just pure chase grind for people that want to engage with it, and it doesn't actually change anything. The only time your loot actually changes is every 100 power level, and since we can't get 500, the 400 to 450 changes nothing about your portal drops at all. So there's absolutely no reason to get the 50 power, and so it's not really that big of a deal that it's kind of extreme, right? In reality, if this DLC launched with 400 being the cap, and that's all you could do right now, this wouldn't even be a conversation or a topic, and that is practically what it is. The 450 does nothing, just get to 400 and stop if you want. So I don't think that's really a big deal, because next season in Ash and Iron is going to go up to 500, and the 550 is going to be the same situation where the last 50 is going to be really hard to get. And that last 50, once again, won't actually change anything with your drops. So it's just gonna be like a bonus chase that if you want to engage with it, you can. It's just completely not necessary and really not a big issue in my opinion. The one thing that does actually get affected by being 450 currently is on Kepler, you get the final +1 tier. And I think that should just be moved to unlocking at 400, and they should make that change as soon as possible. I just see no reason why this is at 450 power. If they don't want people to have access to this yet, why is it even the game? If you plan on making it so people only reach it in Ash and Iron, just release this upgrade then. Why is it even in the game currently? So either move it to 400 or it just shouldn't even have launched until the season. And so now we're wrapping back to the whole time-gated discussion, right? Obviously the tier 5 loot isn't purely time-gated. You can farm it right now and you can get tier 5 drops. It's not impossible, right? The issue is it's 20 times harder than it will be in 40 days from now. So there's absolutely no reason to farm a single vein this DLC when in 40 days you'll be able to get up to 500 and get guaranteed tier 5s from every single drop. And getting to 500, so 400 to 450, then 450 to 500, will be 20 times faster and easier than it is currently. So there's just no reason to go past 400, there's no reason to farm at 400, because you can just refarm everything in 40 days with higher guaranteed tier drops. And this isn't even a new issue at all. It's something I've always hated about the Destiny 2 model dating back all the way to the original seasons. The longer you wait to play, the more efficient, the faster, whatever word you want to describe it, the loot experience becomes. In most seasons with the upgrade table, when the season first dropped, you could just kind of randomly farm loot and have no way to focus it, right? Oh, but wait, if you log in on week 2, you can now focus weapons or armor. But wait, if you wait until week 4, you can actually focus for the exact weapon you want. Oh, but if you wait until week 7, you can actually get red borders from your focusing, and once you get 5 red borders, that means you get enhanced perks. So that's going to be better than all of the previous drops you got. So there's no point farming until week 7. And once you get the 5 red borders, you're done for the season, so just don't play until the very end. And that is kind of the same thing going on right now, but instead of it being contained to one singular release, it's now spanning 2 releases where Edge of Fate comes out and you can only realistically easily farm up to tier 4. And if you just wait until the next release, Ash and Iron, you'll be able to get to 500 and get tier 5 drops, which are going to be better, and it's going to be faster and easier. So it's the exact same core issue, but even worse in my opinion, because it's now spanning multiple releases of Destiny 2 instead of just being contained to its one singular vein. And with it being the same way throughout all these years of Destiny 2 in different iterations, it just seems to be like a core philosophy they have for the game, that they constantly want us to play now and have to log in later to get better loot or get the loot faster. And it's just like they're farming our logins or our player time. I'm not sure what it is, but for me, and I think most of the community, is just screaming, don't play now, just play later. And it makes me feel like Edge of Fate into Ash and Iron are actually just one DLC that have been split into 2, because we can't even fully play the DLC until then anyway, so it just feels like one continuous release instead of 2 separate things. And what this all boils down to, the same thing in the seasonal model, is that we want to play when the content comes out, not at some later date when it artificially becomes easier or better to play. And it's not like playing the Portal is even like currently remotely fun, so there's just no point engaging with it. I mean, the Portal comes down to farming like 1 or 2 activities thousands of times, and for what? Your power everywhere else in the game is capped at -10, -20, -30, whatever the number is. So it just feels so completely pointless right now. So I guess the whole point of this discussion is just get the 400 light to prep for Ash and Iron so you can actually play Edge of Fate. I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. Let me know what you think about this discussion down below. Like I said, there will be probably a part 2 once I'm 450 and gather even more thoughts. And that video will be probably a little bit more constructive in terms of things I would like to see changed or just thoughts on the entire system. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.